just an emotional shock. It makes you like freeze in the moment and just sit there. It doesn't really feel like it's real.
Breaking news out of Sandy, with officials tonight confirming multiple people have died after a shooting this afternoon. This was the moment that the suspect was taken into custody after officers say he surrendered peacefully. Let's go live tonight to Alma McCarty with the latest on the situation in Sandy. Good evening, Alma.
Hey, John, as you can understand, it's been a really difficult day here in Sandy for this really entire community. What began as a domestic disturbance call, a shooting call, ended with multiple people dead. Sandy police have not said a number. They haven't confirmed that to us this evening, only saying at this time multiple people have died. The chief of police, Patrick Husky, he said that he gave a short statement this evening and said that this is a really dynamic investigation.
This is a traumatic event for our community and the Sandy Police Department, and I know many people are grieving. I ask everyone in our community to keep the victims, our injured officer, and families, friends, and all the first responders in their thoughts tonight.
The chief also confirmed one officer was shot multiple times, but is expected to survive. Neighbors told us that they first heard a series of gunshots around 3:45 this afternoon before getting that order to shelter in place. Sandy police posting to social media that the area at the time was not safe, asking everyone to lock their doors and stay inside. Some people we spoke with say that deputies told them to hunker down and hide, and they pushed couches against their apartment doors and moved their kids to another room. Dozens of officers and deputies swarmed this scene, staying for hours while the suspect was confined to a home. Just before 8 p.m., our KGW crew saw a man being led out in handcuffs. People who live in the area called the incident not only shocking, but terrifying.
I was in my bedroom and I heard gunshots, rapid gunshots, just over and over again, more than probably 8 to 10. And I looked outside, I heard people screaming.
Being in a small town, I grew up here and I've only been back for 4 years, and I just went from where everybody knew each other to this, and yeah, it's terrifying, especially being your next door neighbor.
Sandy police would not confirm any names this evening of the victims or of the suspect, and said that the next update would be coming from the Clackamas County District Attorney's Office. At some point, we'll be expecting that. They did say, though, at this time, there is no active threat to this community. We will keep you updated on this developing story. John, back to you.
Alma McCarty live tonight. Alma, thank you so much for that reporting. And stay with KGW for all the latest developments surrounding the deadly shooting in Sandy. Join us again for Sunrise that starts at 5 a.m. Visit our website, kgw.com, or stream us on our free KGW Plus streaming app.
These were not just employees or union members. They were fathers, sons, friends, mentors, and co-workers who help build this facility and this community every single day.
In Longview, the recovery effort at the Nippon Dynawave plant is complete. 5 days after a chemical tank imploded, officials say all 11 victims have now been identified. Investigators now begin the long process of determining what went wrong. Tonight, the public information officer for this incident announcing that of the 7 people who survived the blast, 4 have been treated and released from area hospitals. 3 remain in hospital care. Cleanup of the site is in progress, and people are still asked to avoid local water channels until crews are sure that there's no more contamination there. Well, in the midst of this tragedy, Sunday morning service is understandably solemn at Longview area churches. Our Jake Holter was invited to one of those services this morning as the community starts the slow process of healing.
Sunday service here at New Hope City Church dedicated to the 11 men who were tragically killed at the mill on Tuesday. The community finding solace in each other and God as they grapple with unimaginable loss.
You knew somebody there. I just want you to stand up.
At the first Sunday morning church service since the Nippon Dynawave mill disaster, the room is heavy. The loss of the 11 men killed feels unbearable.
Most of the time people would say, wow, that was right in our own backyard. No, this was in our living room. This hit everybody very hard.
Members of the congregation putting their arms around those who knew the victims. Dan Derby worked at a paper mill for nearly 40 years and says that type of work is ingrained in the community.
We all kind of get pictures in our mind of what happened. Just a bunch of workers going to work. And all of a sudden, everything's changed. Our hearts really go out to the families.
He and his wife Glenda are regulars at New Hope City Church, but say it felt especially important to be there in the wake of this tragedy.
We get our strength from the Lord. That's where we get it, so that's where we want to be, is in his house with his people.
During the service, members were asked to form 11 small groups, each given a name of one of the victims to pray for.
Norman Barlow, Dylan Miller.
Pastor Scott Olin explains how church can help in times of crisis.
I think just continuing to have a high value for community, a high value for people, a high value for love.
He says leadership is available for ministry and prayer, and that his church plans to help the families financially as well.
God's peace to the families, that's all we can say.
In Longview, Jake Holter, KGW News.
Gilbert was a vital part of this church, a huge volunteer. He just loved Jesus, and he was a doer.
Also today, a celebration of life was held for Gilbert Bernal, the last person to be recovered from the disaster. Alex McClune was there and brings us some of the stories shared about Bernal and the legacy he left behind.
But he played a special part in our lives.
Every seat was filled at Journey Adventist Church Sunday. More than 650 people packed the pews and an overflow room for Gilbert Bernal's celebration of life.
Known him for over 20 years. I knew how much he had touched me. I knew how much he had touched our church family. I didn't know how much he touched the whole community.
Pastor Dan Hughes led the service that saw Bernal's friends and his mother share their memories of his marriage and childhood.
Yo creo que no era mi hijo.
I couldn't believe he was my son.
I strive to have the marriage you guys have.
He's the kind of person that we all should work to be like.
Bernal even installed new lights in and around the church.
He'd bring out a lift, replaced all these lights. He was just a guy that served God.
The massive chemical storage tank at the Nippon paper mill imploded less than a week ago.
In the days since, Longview has come together to remember the 11 workers through vigils and other events as families wait for answers. Bernal leaves behind his children Eli and Giovanna.
He probably knew his fate, but it gives me peace of mind that he was so calm because he was a godly man and knew that this was his time, whether we were ready for it or not. And passed away shortly after he got to the hospital.
Longview will remember Bernal as humble, kind, and quick to turn strangers into friends.
I think that's just the power he found within himself and within God.
Well, there's a donation fund set up for people who want to support the families affected by this tragedy. People in Longview can go to any local branch of Lower Columbia Longshoremen's Federal Credit Union, Fiber Federal Credit Union, and Red Canoe Credit Union. All right, let's switch gears now and talk about our weather and take a live look outside from the Vancouver waterfront. I don't think we could have asked for a much better way to end the month of May, with sunny skies throughout the day and very pleasant temperatures as well. But get ready for a little taste of summer as we start the month of June. Meteorologist Joe Ranieri joining us tonight. Let us know how warm things are going to get, Joe.
We're going to be looking at temperatures about 10 degrees warmer from what we saw earlier this afternoon, maybe a little bit warmer in a few locations. Live look now over in the Rose City from our Wells Fargo Tower camera. We're looking at clear skies with a temperature of 60 degrees. The first week of June is, well, I should say the first 2 days of June are going to be feeling more like summer. I'm forecasting highs right around the mid to the upper 80s for your Monday. Come Tuesday, it's going to be closer to 90 degrees. By midweek, clouds roll in and we will remain dry. There could be a little bit of some sprinkles here and there on Wednesday and Thursday, but the real heavier precipitation won't arrive until the later part of this week. Could get kind of hold off until a good portion of Friday, but going into Friday night and into Saturday, we will be seeing some wet conditions. And yeah, take a look at some of these temperatures. 9 a.m. tomorrow, we're already at 60 degrees. Daytime highs by the afternoon, again, anywhere from about 84 to 86 degrees. A few locations, I think, maybe could bump up a little bit warmer than that, but yeah, this ridge of high pressure, John, is going to be staying with us for the first couple of days, but a very nice start to the first week of June. I'll talk more about that in detail in a few minutes.
All right, Joe, thanks so much. To the latest now on the U.S. war with Iran, and both sides digging in even as a potential peace deal hangs in the balance. Danielle Hamajian has more.
As the world waits for any signs of progress between the U.S. and Iran, tonight the Iranian foreign minister telling state media the talks between the two countries are still ongoing. This just days after President Trump met with top advisors in the Situation Room. It was, he said, to make a final determination about the deal. According to a senior administration official, that meeting involved President Trump continuing to refine the deal, and that the White House now expects it could take days to hear back. Today, Iran's top negotiators saying they would have to see concrete gains before fulfilling their end of a deal with the U.S. On his list of demands, Trump wants Iran to never have a nuclear weapon. He wants the Strait of Hormuz reopened and any mines in the crucial waterway destroyed. A key demand from Tehran? Money. Billions of dollars in frozen funds that he wants back, some of it up front. In an interview on Fox News recorded on Thursday with his daughter-in-law, Trump said this.
So we're getting what we want slowly. Very tough negotiators. It takes a long time. I'm in no hurry. I'd like to say I'm in a hurry because, gasoline prices are going to come tumbling down. But if you're going to be in a hurry, you're not going to make a good deal.
Meanwhile, in Lebanon, Israeli forces pushing even further north into Lebanese territory. It marks Israel's deepest ground incursion in that country in 26 years. An escalation that could potentially derail talks between the U.S. and Iran. Danielle Hamamjian, NBC News, London.
Well, back here locally, photos shared by Vancouver Fire showing some intense flames coming from a second-story home today. This was just after 11 this morning when firefighters responded to a home off of Northeast 4th Avenue and Roth Street. They rescued one man who could not move by himself. He was taken to the hospital and is expected to survive. It took nearly 36 firefighters about 30 minutes to get the fire under control. And in Salem, an investigation into what caused a fire at a car lot is underway. Crews arrived on scene this morning to find 2 RVs engulfed in flames near a building. They were able to put out the fires before they could damage the building. No one was hurt.